Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Susie if you're new here. In today's video, we're doing some thrift store marriages, not weddings, but where we take two thrifted items, marry them together to make a unique, intentional item. This video was inspired by this marriage that I did in last week's Valentine display video. You guys loved it. It was basically an old clock stand, and I put a vintage plate in it, and now they're a beautiful piece. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started with some marriages. Okay, so this is one of those Tealight holders. This one is actually made to have like a stained glass globe on it. I haven't been able to find one, but somebody gifted me a whole thing of these globes that I used to make bells with at Christmas time, and there's this frosty glass one in there, and I only have the one of them, but it is a perfect fit on this little brass. This thing is really heavy, brass or bronze or some kind of Tealight holder. So I do need to cover the top. So here's where the DIY comes in. I think this is probably the base of a bottle brush tree. It was just around, and so, but it fits perfectly on the top of there. Of course, it doesn't match the look we're going for at all, so I've got to make it match. And for that, I'm going to mimic these here, and wouldn't you know it, in the Victoriana mold, there's exactly that right there. However, I don't want it to taper down like that since I'm going to do it on the edge of this. This is from Classic Elements. So, and I think one of them is going to wrap perfectly around this. So we're going to cast that, and I'm going to wrap it around here, and then I'm going to paint it with Fusion's Metallic Bronze, which once you put a dark wax over it, looks exactly like this. My clay is dry. Actually, it's been drying for a couple of days because of winter storm. This next step I should have done before I did the clay mold, but it is what it is. I'm gonna make it work. I want to put this knob on the top, but I need to make that hole bigger so this will fit in there. So hopefully I can do this without breaking my mold. Got it. I went right where the hole was, but it doesn't look to be the center. The last thing I'm going to do before putting this or having the ceremony and putting these together is I'm going to add a little dark wax over this paint. Some of it will stay down in between those, what are those things called? Anyway, the details of the mold, and make it look kind of like that right there. Is the kind that I like. Absolutely perfectly easy. This is one of those like tea warmers. You put a carafe in there and you have your little tea light candle down here. You never find the whatever they're called pitchers that go with these, but you do find these a lot. And I was going through my stash and I found this very unique vase that I have had for many years. I've styled different florals in it different ways, and I'm like, I wonder if those will fit together. And wouldn't you know it, look at that. It is a perfect fit. When I style this, you'll be amazed. I mean, this is a marriage made in heaven. There's a bunch of ways you can style this. I'm going to show you a few pictures, but this one was so easy. Next thrift store marriage is actually going to be a three-parter, and these are pretty obvious. I've done this many times here on my channel. These are just random candlesticks. This one, the top of it was really messed up, and I didn't have anything round that fit down in there, so I simply glued using the tight bond glue. I took the liberty of doing these off camera. I just glued this bowl on there. I had this single bowl. So, and look how that's going to look great with a half sphere. I am going to paint all these. This one is a couch foot, I think. I did the same thing. I had this wood round in my stash, the last of the round ones. And I just glued it on the top. And this one, it was an old candlestick that didn't have a partner or anything back in my stash. It's needed painted. And this is one of those taco salad shell bowls. This one fought me a little bit. I ended up having to screw it down because it didn't touch enough to connect with the glue, but I got it. Now I'm going to paint all three of these. I'm going to go ahead and paint them the same color, but they will all be sold individually. And once you style these up, you cannot even tell that these were a thrift store marriage. And these are so fun to do, and it's so easy to find. You probably have a bunch of these things in your stash right now. So now I can get them fixed up and get them out on the sales floor. To paint these, I'm using Fusion Mineral Paint in the color Algonquin. And I'll either come back with some wax or do some dry brushing over these. I want to keep these a neutral color because candlesticks tend to be bought to be left out all the time. And you decorate these risers with the season. So I need to do something pretty neutral to ensure good sales. Initially, I wasn't going to film me dry brushing over these, but I did it on the first one, and the transformation was so incredible that I wanted you guys to see. This Algonquin is absolutely beautiful, neutral on its own, but in my opinion, just simply dry brushing a little bit of a white or a cream over it just elevates it to a whole new level. It gives it that Pottery Barn look. If you haven't tried this Algonquin, I do have it in stock right now. I was out for a long time, and I'm finally back in stock if you need to get it. And that is SusieOnTheFarm.com. And look at the transformation of these candlestick risers that we married today. Was gifted all of these Tulip votive cups, And these can be used for a lot of different things. I have quite a few different varieties here. And when you think of these, you think of the usual marriages, which I do have quite a few of. Like, for instance, a candle holder, as these are what these are made for. However, you might not find them together. So you can easily match them up with your brass candle holders as long as they have the votive hole. Look how pretty that is. I also have a couple of crystal candlesticks. Can you imagine a candle ring on that? We're going to style some of these up with those, but I was also trying to figure out a few more unconventional things to put with these. And I was thinking, why can't I put them in these little brass vases that I have? These would be a perfect marriage also. Again, you could put some greenery. You can add a tea light candle. The possibilities are endless. And where this brass vase that I have had only $11.99 for a very long time might sell if I marry it with something so people can see just what you can do with these. Oh, there's one more. All right, so unconventional things also can include, how about a napkin ring? Now, I have a lot of wood napkin rings and a lot of brass napkin rings. However, they're packed up in a box for my daughter's wedding in May. So I didn't have those, but I did have these in my stash. And look at that. You can stack a couple of these on a book for the holidays. Any kind of candle ring. I mean, napkin holder. Why am I saying candle ring? Napkin ring looks amazing. So let's style a few of these up and see how pretty they look. I have one more thrift store marriage for y'all today, and that one is with this really old frame. The reason I picked it up is it was round. I thought it was just an old frame. I thought I could just get me a little piece of wood or something and put a backing in this, put a transfer on it, and I'd be good to go. However, I didn't realize at the time that it's actually a plate holder. So when I started this video, I went through my plate stash to find something that would fit, and lo and behold, I do have a plate that happens to be a perfect fit. Maybe I could get one a little bit bigger, but this one holds this one in perfectly. Now, I'm not about, I do love buffalo check, but only at Christmas. So I'm going to give this piece an upcycle. The first thing I'm going to go do is take this plate outside and do some spray paint on it. This is a creamy white. It says white, but it's a creamy white. I may even go over it with a coat of Chateau. And then I'm going to paint the frame in Fusion French Eggshell. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back to show you guys the reveal. Before we join this beautiful couple in the bonds of holy matrimony, I want to do a couple more things. And these pieces were inspired by this morning during my live. Well, for you guys, it was yesterday morning. For me, as I'm filming on Tuesday, it was this morning. I added painterly florals. Well, I painted this cake topper in French eggshell, and I added transfers from the painterly floral. As many of you know, I am trying not to open anything new. Use the packs that I have open in anticipation of the new IOD spring release that will be coming soon. So I haven't opened anything, and I'm trying to use up the last of the transfer packs that I've started. I have this little bitty transfer left from the Painterly Florals. By the way, this cake topper is listed online if you would like to purchase it. And this little transfer happens to fit absolutely perfect on this plate. So that's where it's going. And also, remember there was a little gold rim right here. I had to paint over it because it was not in great shape. So I'm going to add that gold rim back on with some rub and buff. And then we will join these together. All right. So, yes, I like it. I actually love it and really want some more of it. However, I think we can do even a little bit more special. This is from the Petite Ornament Gold Gilded Transfer, and I think it will match this perfectly, and I'm committed now because it is down there. So I'm just going to add that on real quick, and then we'll style it up. I struggle so hard with getting these up. So I'm thinking that is a great idea because I'm always scratching my surface with my fingernail trying to start pulling up my transfer paper. So this worked. I put a piece of tape down on my transfer and lifted it up that way. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm going to go over this with a sealer, and this one is done. All right, friends, we took a bunch of lonely little thrifted pieces from my stash, gave them their forever partners, and I love how every single one turned out. It's always fun to see how something that felt unfinished suddenly makes sense once it's married to the right piece. If you have a stash at home, I hope this inspires you to stop waiting for the perfect project and start pairing things up. Walk your shelves, look at shapes, look at height, and just start playing. You never know what's going to work until you try it. Let me know in the comments which marriage was your favorite today. And if you'd like to see more of these, maybe we turn thrift store marriages into a regular little series around here. If you enjoyed hanging out with me, make sure you're subscribed, give the video a thumbs up, and share it with a creative friend who loves a good thrift flip. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. I appreciate it more than you know, and I will see you in the next one right here at Susie on the Farm.